Oof. This piece is a lot more emotional than I thought. Thanks, YouTube. You got me to feel feelings. So Madoka is officially 10 years old, and I don't know how to feel about that. This anime came out when I was just around Madoka's age, which puts me in a strange crisis right now. It also makes me want to go back though and reflect on just how life-changing this anime was for me at the time. And as of now, while we're waiting for that cryptic whatever 10-year anniversary thing, I figured there's only one thing left to do. Rewatch the series. Yes, people, it is finally time. It is time to look back fondly on the phenomenon that is my favorite anime, Apolonio Madoka Magica, 10 years later. Yes, there will be spoilers for the anime, and yes, there will also be the occasional fangirl moment from yours truly. I am sorry, enjoy. For some context, 2011 was a huge year for anime, with classics such as Anohana, Steins Gate, and Gossek taking the world by storm. Among this list of gangbuster anime was, of course, Madoka, with its first episode releasing on January 7th, 2011, right in the beginning of the year. Madoka was created by a collaborative group now known as Magica Quartet, consisting of Akiyuki Shinbo, Atsuhira Iwakami, Ume Aoki, and Gen Urobuchi. A few of those names should ring familiar to hardcore anime fans, especially Gen Urobuchi, as he's known for writing, for lack of a better term, some good-ass Psychopaths, Fate Zero, and a visual novel called Saya no Uta, which you should absolutely, by no circumstance, ever play in public, are amongst his biggest titles. If this should tell you anything, it's that this dude likes some dark stuff. So much so that he's been nicknamed Uro Butcher for his love of morbid themes and heavy usage of gore. So yeah, basically my idol. I know. Keeping that in mind, it is no surprise that Madoka is a magical girl anime that hits a little different than most. Up until this point, magical girl anime wasn't a genre known exactly for being violent, depressing, and downright grim. When we hear magical girl, we think Sailor Moon, Tokyo Mew Mew, and Cardcaptor Sakura, to name a few. These are anime that appeal mostly to girls ages 13 and under, and although they do contain the occasional got real moment, for the most part, they stayed pretty lighthearted and fun. Madoka, on the other hand, while purposely having the appearance of a sugary sweet shoujo in both its marketing as well as its first few episodes, certainly proves itself to be, well, anything but. Of course, this isn't the first anime to add a twist to the magical girl genre. Magical Girl Lyrical Nanoha is a series from 2004 that covers some deeper subject matter such as child abuse and other social issues. You can even date all the way back to the early 80s with Magical Princess Minky Momo, an anime that's cute and innocent until the moment where main heroine Minky loses the gem that gives her magical powers, and then later gets hit by a truck and dies. Evil Truck-kun strikes again. Anime from the 80s just hits different.
Literally, they die.
Yeah, they just die. So yeah, Madoka didn't birth the idea of magical girl anime going grimdark, but it certainly reached the widest audience by far, capturing that niche and running with it. Okay, now that we've gotten our context, let's move on to the content. Or more specifically, these are my thoughts and opinions upon rewatch of Apolonio Madoka Magica. Get strapped in. There's a lot. First of all, one thing that really stands out to me upon rewatch is visuals. This anime oozes style, using it in a way that captures all sorts of warm, fuzzy feelings like emptiness and deep-rooted psychological terror. Scenes taking place in the normal world contain large, sprawling settings with plenty of atmosphere, but kinda lacking in human life. Seemingly endless bridges and massive parks tend to only ever be occupied by our 5 main girls, giving off a real sense of loneliness and isolation that I can only imagine is meant to capture how alienated magical girls become from humanity. To contrast these settings, the witch labyrinths are full of color, activity, and childlike wonder. Well, if childlike wonder took one too many tabs of acid at Burning Man. This experimental approach of creating those worlds made me feel both in awe as well as terrified during my rewatch, like I was reading a picture book that had been cursed by a witch. Actually, that's not too far off. Anyway, the anime still looks gorgeous, despite a few, shots of the girls lingering in the background. Mea culpa. Personally, I find it all really charming, and I can't say I blame Madoka for caring about having a cute outfit while she fights in a cute yet extremely creepy witch world. The first 3 episodes, in my opinion, create such a perfect setup for the rest of the short series, using just the right amount of adorable to lull viewers into a false sense of security while sprinkling in moments that might suggest something more sinister, without fully giving away the twist of the anime. Then, once we reach episode 3, where we see that infamous and rather graphic moment where mommy dies at the hands, teeth of a witch, we finally see the true colors of Madoka Magica, and those colors don't exactly resemble cotton candy. Okay, before I move on to the real meat of the series, one little aside that I want to mention is that I love how Madoka has a gentle stay-at-home dad and a badass working mom. Yeah, very minor, I know, but it's a nice little touch, especially for all the aspiring young career girls watching. Also, I think Madoka's mom is my new favorite character. That speech she has about adulthood in episode 6 just smacks you in the face once you reach a certain age, doesn't it, Adrian? It's weird rewatching the show as an adult, but I think it's better.
I just want to know what Jacob's gonna put in there. Is it like Adrian sounds of pain?
Adrian moaning.
Oh no!
I think one of Madoka's strongest aspects is its character relationships. Episodes 4 and onwards prove this through both the relationships between Sayaka and Kyoko, as well as Homura and Madoka. Magical girl anime always tend to emphasize how important the power of friendship and community is. The Sailor Senshi shine brightest when they all work together to defeat the enemy rather than on their own. Madoka, on the other hand, is the first magical girl anime I've seen that has real intense, dramatic fights between the girls. First between Mami and Homura, and then later between Kyoko and Sayaka. The latter two are certainly the most impulsive and hot-headed girls in the bunch, and their first fight in episode 5 comes as kind of shocking to both us as well as Madoka herself. Magical girls shouldn't fight each other! Our sweet heroine cries out to Kyubei as she watches her best friend Sayaka get obliterated by the veteran redhead. However, their philosophies clash so hard with each other on both wish granting as well as witch hunting that peace just doesn't feel like an option. That is, until eventually Homura breaks them up. These are hormonal teenage girls after all. What's really striking to me though is that even though Sayaka and Kyoko clash the hardest, they end up having the strongest relationship next to Homura and Madoka. Kyoko is the one who tries to lead Sayaka down a path that betters herself once they learn the truth about their soul gems and that stained Kyubei. Kyoko's eventual sacrifice also ultimately saves Sayaka after corruption, because she understands her suffering more than anyone, as she's another magical girl who used her wish on someone else, only to have it all blow up in her face down the line. In the end, she refuses to let Sayaka suffer all alone, even if the consequences were mostly brought on by Sayaka herself. It's a beautiful moment in the anime, hitting me harder than it did 10 years ago. Then, there's the matter of Homura and Madoka. Okay. This relationship meant a lot to me 10 years ago, and it still means a lot to me now. I first watched this anime at a time where I was still figuring out a lot of things about myself. I knew that I liked boys, but I was also starting to feel some weird feelings towards girls. Being a teenager, I was a bit too frightened to really explore these new thoughts, but when I found Madoka, I felt that I had discovered something that I was hiding from, if that makes any sense. No, the anime is not a straight up Yuri, I'll make that clear, but Homura's feelings for Madoka are so strong that it just can't be ignored. I didn't think a girl could feel so strongly about another girl, but Homura feels so strongly that she sacrifices literally everything for Madoka. I will admit Homura's feelings do get quite toxic, which maybe isn't the healthiest message for me to take away, but that doesn't make her feelings any less real. What she feels for Madoka extends way beyond just friendship to me. Is it love? Is it an obsession? I think that's up for interpretation.
I like the toxic point because in Rebellion it does get
Yeah, and because once you get to Rebellion, you realize how toxic it is. And also, like everything she sacrifices Madoka, it's still at the expense of all the other girls.
Yeah, she basically becomes every stereotypical girl dad.
Yeah, basically.
It's for you!
It's for you! We don't promote what Homura is doing.
Yeah.
Her intense need for Madoka to live, as well as reciprocate her feelings, was what really affected me. It spoke to those hidden feelings of wanting something so badly that I couldn't have, due to setbacks like fear, rejection, judgment, and the literal world ending, as crazy as it sounds. It's something I'll never forget. Finally, so I don't kill the editor here, I want to talk about Madoka herself. Many have brought this up before, but for most of the series, Madoka remains pretty passive and doesn't actually become a magical girl until the very end. In fact, she spends most of the time crying, being unsure of herself, and just assisting others rather than taking charge.
Sounds like someone else I know. Oh, I'm sorry.
F off, Kurt. Oh my god.
That scared the crap out of me.
The nerve. The fucking nerve.
I was talking about me.
Oh. She spends most of the time crying, being unsure of herself, and just assisting others rather than taking charge. If that's the case, why is she my favorite character? Well, to be honest, all of these reasons are exactly why. Madoka's superpower is her empathy. Although her upbringing and life are much more fortunate than those around her, she still carries the burden of all of her friends and always puts them first before herself, no matter how dangerous the situation. Madoka is selfless and kind, naive, but optimistic. In the end, both her strengths and her flaws change the world, even inspiring hope within someone as broken as Homura. I may have an affinity for all things messed up and cruel, but in the end, my favorite characters are always the ones with the biggest hearts. So yes, that concludes a lot of my feelings upon the rewatch. Of course, I still have so much more to say, but that would probably put this video at over an hour, and I still gotta talk about Madoka's impact today. So, 10 years later, and it's clear that this series is still going strong in the anime world. Not only do we have the anime from 2011, but since then we got several Madoka manga, 2 recap movies, the Rebellion movie, a game for PSP, a game for PS Vita, a mobile game, an anime spin-off of the Magia Record mobile game, and countless countless Madoka-themed peaches, countless pieces of merch, and holy shit, so much more. Madoka's convention presence is still massive. I know I have my fair share of merchandise, a lot more than I'm not showing. HBO's Euphoria even gave Madoka a small cameo, with the character Jules having Madoka and Homura holding hands as her phone background.
Well, what about later? Probably gonna do some homework. Binge watch some Madoka Magica.
Again, to this day, Madoka is shaping women-loving women around the world. Thank you very much. Grimdark Magical Girl anime definitely fell into vogue after Madoka's debut. Magical Girl Sight, Magical Girl Raising Project, and Yuki Yuna as a Hero are just a few examples of anime that put their cute little heroines through the ringer once they agreed to fighting evil. Again, Madoka did not start the trend, but it certainly popularized it. Finally, just like at the conclusion of the anime, Madoka remains in our hearts. It's been 10 years and it's still my all-time favorite anime. Madoka has taught me so many lessons, like how I do have the power to make a change in the world, no matter how difficult things may seem. I may be one small girl on a collective anime channel, but I can still use that to make others smile when they have a tough day or teach them something about their favorite anime that maybe they didn't know before. Sure, it didn't force me to become God and cause everyone to forget my existence, but hey, anything can happen in 2021. So if you want to take anything away from this anime, it doesn't have to be about suffering. It can be about hope, love, identity, really whatever you want. The anime didn't just become popular because the evil bunny thing made a bunch of teenage girls become soulless zombies. It remains an extremely important anime because it left lasting impacts on its audience, both negative and positive. Whatever you took away from it, I really hope you still hold the same love for these girls that I do.
Bunny? Wait, it's not a cat?
What is he, a cat bunny thing? He's got the face of a cat, but he's got bunny ears. Fox? Funyarimpa?
What is Cubase?
He's a thing.
I always figured he was meant to be a cat. Jacob, what do you call this?
Evil bunny cat
What do you
thing.
call this?
Incubator, you know? Incubator. I'm Magical Girl Lovely Dorrie, and thank you so much for watching Beyond the Bot, your neighborhood anime club. Hello! Thank you so much for watching this video. I was really excited about this one. I know it got a little, passionate at some points, but I'm just really happy I finally got to make a video about my favorite anime. Big thank you to our patrons, and a huge thank you especially to Madoka. Would you like to help me read these? Sure, to Half Priced, Sugar Joe, Andrew M, Critical225, Kyle, and Eric Tortorapatu. Thank you! Thanks, Madoka. And the question that we are being asked is, what is a dream project of yours? My dream project is to make a movie. I had a thesis that I wrote in college that I'm still extremely passionate about, and I hope to one day get that up on the big screen. That's the end goal. But until then, we're gonna voice act and make our cash, and then once we've got all the dough for it, it's movie time, baby. Once again, thank you so much for watching. Please keep watching Beyond the Bot. Remember to like, subscribe, and watch Madoka. Everybody say thank you, Madoka. Thank you, Madoka. Bye, everyone.